I was standing in line at a deli in New York on 44th between 3rd and Lexington. And I was getting dinner for my wife and, myself. And the newborn was still on a bottle.
Right.
But I'd been waiting in line forever. And I got the call, and it was very presidential.
Yeah.
It's very, is this Rob Riggle? Yes. Stand by for a call from Lorne Michaels. Almost like stand by for a call from the president. And I was like, oh. And I kind of did quick math. Lorne doesn't call with bad news.
Right.
So I didn't want to allow myself to get excited, but I got excited. So I stepped out of line, which I'd been waiting in for like 30 minutes. So I stepped out of line, and of course New York is just filled in. You know?
Of course.
I could have dropped dead and they would have filled in.
Yeah, and you're not getting it back.
I'm not getting it back. So I stepped out, and I went out on the street, and he came and I was, Rob, we thought you did a fine job. We enjoyed your audition, very interesting, and he's very nice. Would you be interested in joining the cast this year? And that was it. I screamed.
Oh my
something.
God.
I was very Marine still.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a job in show business.
Yeah.
So I screamed something like, "I'm going to work so hard for you. You made a good choice. I promise. I'm going to show up every day." And I'm sure he was already hanging up.
It's breaking bread.
I always think of Don Rickles in Casino. Like there's a couple scenes where they show De Niro, and then they show Rickles. And I'm like, yeah.
That's why we chose the business that we chose.
I know. But the thing is, you could lean in harder on being more of a Rickles face. Yeah. Like I'm still hanging on because I do think I am more De Niro.
Yes. By far.
But if you just embrace it.
Yeah.
I saw a film the other night, and I
always think about, real quick, I'm going to let you finish that thought. But when you bring Rickles in Casino, when he got tossed by Pesci, and he bounces on the ground. I don't know why that always sticks out, because my heart breaks for him. I was like, don't do that to Don. But when you see him hit the ground, he's stiff as a board, and he bounces, and he's flat on his face, and I'm always like, oh, that gets me every time.
I know, but that's why your heart reaches out to the funny-looking guy. I saw this film, and I forget what it was some Turner Classic thing, and there was a guy, like a handsome guy, and he was talking to, and the guy was playing a nebbishy accountant, and he was like, "Sir, I don't know." That was his job was just next to the lead, just going, "Yeah, I don't know, sir." And he was balding, a little roundish face, glasses, and I'm like, I should be leaning into those roles. What am I doing? Competing with guys for the other role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't carry that. I carry me in high school, curly hair, athlete.
Oh, I still have the visions of, maybe I could do this. Maybe I should throw my hat in the ring for that. I'm like, Now I think the further down the road, I'm starting to realize, like, give me that second banana who comes in, and maybe scores a little, but maybe not. I don't care too much. And gym coach. Yeah, that's me.
Well, here's the funny thing, because as I look at you, you are a handsome man.
Thank you.
When you got the Daily Show, it was like, this makes sense, because this is a guy who literally, just looking, you're like, okay, this could be a serious journalist. But as soon as you talk, with all comedians, it all comes out. It all comes out. And you're like, no, he's a goofball. You know what I mean?
I'll take it.
There totally is that thing.
I'll take it.
You could try and be like kind of kick-ass and whatever, but it's gonna leak through.
This last, I got to say, our business right now is just different. Than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. And all bad things started in 2020.
It really is true.
With COVID and everything. It's just the whole world turned upside down. It hadn't been right since, especially our business.
So true.
But our business. And so this past year, I did like 3 dramas and only 1 comedy, just because they're not making the comedies like they used to.
Yeah.
And so I've been leaning more into the dramatic work, which has been really fun, because normally I don't get those opportunities, but that's the opportunities that are out there. So that's what you've been hunting for, which has been great. It's kind of fun to do that, but
that is good.
I want to do comedy. That's where the joy is. I love being on a comedy set.
Yeah.
I love being around comedians. I like cracking wise and improvising, and that's where the joy is.
When you're doing these dramas,
yeah.
Is it a serious set?
Yeah, it's well, the set's nice. The people are great, you know, but the work is heavy. You know, it's heavy. It's heavy subject matter. It's heavy emotion. It's heavy, you know, getting into certain headspaces and stuff. You know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I don't know.
Exactly. Give me those comedies.
Yeah.
Well, let's get those back in circulation.
I know. It seems like they're starting to. Seems like
we're starting very slowly to come out of whatever we were in.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful because I see hints of it.
Yeah.
I see it and I hear sparks and I get whiffs of comedy and people feeling like things are returning to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
And that excites me.
Man, you're so right though. It really was that 2020. Everything got weird.
Everything got
weird. I remember somebody saying it's going to take 10 years
to undo this.
To undo it. And certain things came back a little quicker, but I don't think we're there.
Well,
this is 6. This is 6 years.
The strike, and then you have all this new technology, and now AI's,
I know,
coming in. It's one of those things. It's like nobody know the old paradigm. Everybody knew where they fit into that ecosystem.
Yeah.
We all knew.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's pilot season. This is what I do to make my living and pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
And it's all gone. It's all just exploded. And it's not even the kind of shredder that you can piece back together.
No.
It's confetti.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, I don't know how to get paid anymore. I don't know where to even apply.
I know.
So the good thing though is if you have stand-up in your life.
Yeah.
You can always go back to the greatest art form there is.
Yeah.
Which is you, a microphone, and an audience.
Exactly.
And that's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
Because I'm at that threshold where I'm thinking, I might have to go build a new set.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah. Well, you definitely should because...
It's so hard, man. It's so hard.
How long has it been since you did a set?
It's been a long time. It's been 10 years since I've done a set.
All right. It'll take a bit.
I know how long it took me to build that first 60-minute set.
Yeah.
It took a long time. And that was when I was in New York, where I could hit 5 mics in a night without even batting an eye. I'd jump in a cab, do 5, do 10. By the end of the night, I, probably had a minute or two worth of really good stuff.
Yeah. You start editing it down. It's all worked out.
Here, out in LA, it's fine, but it's hard. It's harder.
It's slower.
You're lucky if you get in 2 mics.
Exactly. And then I literally hear, it's valuable and you work on it and you're better at doing it, more experience. But I go back to New York and I do 3 quick sets. Yeah. And what would take me a week, because that's how often is like you do the joke. Mm-hmm. You do it, you work on it, and then the self-editor comes in and cleans it up.
Yes.
And the third one, and you're like, this was just so fast.
Yeah. And by the end of the night, like when I'd go hit the piano room, the slipper room, UCB, hump night, or wherever. There's always mics, and you know where they are, and you can go hit it. You try a story. You found out what worked. You try something else. You cut the dead weight.
Yeah.
Then you embellish. Then you heighten. And by the end of the night, you got something. You're like, all right, maybe I can build on that.
I know.
It's a wonderful feeling.
So much better.
But I think you can accomplish in NYC, or you used to be able to. I haven't been in NYC in a while, but you used to be able to. I think you can accomplish in half the time that it takes to do it in LA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, out here.
This is me talking to myself. I'm coaching myself.
Coaching yourself, getting you ready.
I'm like, it's a pep talk going, okay, just do it. You can do this. You can do this.
Yeah. Well, as your manager, I'm going to add that you also, with LA, you got to go out on the road. Mm-hmm. Then you'll get those reps in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not all, you can't stay in town really.
Yeah.
So, get back to me on that. In your book, your new book, Grit, Spit, and Never Quit.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Great title.
Thank you.
Really good title.
Thank you.
I started reading it on my commute back from the road.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And you have a lot of really good stuff in it.
Oh, well, thank you.
This is obviously the first one because you're covering everything.
Yeah, it was a memoir of type, I guess.
Yeah.
Motivational memoir, I guess is what I'd probably classify it as.
Yeah. It is. It's inspiring.
Okay.
And I'm going to dive into right off the bat the the darkest part, because I was there at the same time.
Oh.
And during 9/11, it was, of course, you know what it was. It was, and you identified with it because we were in New York at the time. It was our hometown.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the world. It wasn't just the country. It was also where you lived and seeing those
It was right down the
towers
street.
all the time.
Yeah.
And we went back and started doing sets at the Comedy Cellar that week. They just opened it up.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know, but if people need to come, and we're just going to cobble this together. And it was weird, and you didn't know how to make people laugh.
It was all unprecedented.
It was all crazy,
Yeah.
batshit crazy. And this is all leading up to your mention of it in the book. My time when I came back and my wife and I were living in Chelsea, and it was like the second day, and I just didn't know what to do. And I walked down to Chelsea Piers and just went for a walk. And I saw all of these emergency vehicles streaming down the West Side Highway from everywhere, all around Massachusetts, Jersey, Pennsylvania, all coming to help. And I just broke down because it was the love, the help that people wanted. They were desperate to help. Yeah. And that crushed me.
No, it's a wonderful thought, though, and it's very true.
And you were even closer. Your story is at ground zero.
Yeah. Well, I was in my reserve unit in the Marines was in Manhattan. And I think we were, if not the only, we're one of the only reserve units in Manhattan proper. So after 9/11, you know, they closed the bridges and tunnels.
Yeah.
And we got activated. Our unit did. And so Lieutenant Colonel Brozak, who was my commanding officer, called and said, all right, you know, we'll show up down at One Police Plaza tomorrow morning in your boots and utes, which that's utilities, meaning our camouflage uniform. And we're going to go to work, you know. And that was,
what a call.
it. So that's what we did. We showed up and we mustered outside of 1 Police Plaza down there, which is right by City Hall, but very close to Ground Zero. It's by the church almost. Yeah. And then they walked us in once we assembled. We walked in and kind of found a spot where they wanted us, and we just made a human bucket brigade, and that's what we did.
You were that picture.
Yeah.
You were that picture of guys just in the rubble.
Yeah.
Just hoping to find people.
Hoping, and no idea what was. There were 6 stories of rubble,
God.
so it was that thing where it was very high, like it was still piled up, and the buildings around had been gutted by falling debris and falling so the buildings weren't stable.
Right.
You know, so, and the winds were strong and you know, you didn't know if it was going to collapse, but time was of the essence because we had to assume there were survivors.
Right.
So everybody was working hard, you know, but they couldn't bring in heavy equipment.
Right.
Because they were afraid of cave-ins and collapses. Sure. So it all had to be kind of done by what you could do by hand.
Right.
So it was just and you know, we never rescued anybody while I was around.
Well, that was, I mean, at Chelsea Piers, the ice rink was getting ready to be a morgue because it was a big thing of ice. And then the hospital's down there, which St. James, or I forget which is now closed, they were all ready. Everybody was ready.
Everybody was.
But nobody showed up. There wasn't
it wasn't
even
that
an injury
big thing, yeah, because I remember, you know, those buildings contain during a workday, upward of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So, you know, the low estimates we're probably going to be looking at 10,000 low estimate. And God forbid, you know, higher than that. But that's what everybody was assuming. Thank God that wasn't the case.
Right.
But yeah, no, I remember those emotional releases because, you know, you're in shock. Everybody's in shock for days. And then you're not sleeping well and you're hurting and you're confused and you feel like you've been sucker punched and the injustice and the humanity of it. And all these things are happening. And then the weirdest thing will hit you. And then you have this emotional release.
When you saw that guy on the street.
Yeah. That just, all of a sudden I was fine.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't. Because it all came out.
It just comes out.
Yeah.
You just, because you can't even identify what you're feeling.
It's a bizarre thing when, for me anyway, I never experienced, I don't think, other than maybe anger. I hadn't experienced, emotions bursting out of me.
Right. Yeah. Controlled. Really. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where I wasn't in control. All of a sudden the tears just came literally popping out.
Right.
That doesn't happen to me very often. So that was a very bizarre feeling.
Yeah. Man, oh man. And then you decide, well, I'm going to go fight for the good guys.
Well, yeah, I was young.
Yeah.
I was.
How old were you? You were like
30.
30, yeah.
I was a captain in the Marines. This is what I've been trained for. I'd been deployed before. I had a very high security clearance for my job, which I knew they were going to need green badges.
Yeah.
And so, and then, if you spend time down on ground zero like I did, from the 12th to the 30th of September, you want to do something. I was in a position to do something. Everybody wanted to do something.
Yeah, and you had nothing to do.
Yeah, and everybody was just kind of, in New York City, everybody was jonesing to do something. So I remember the perimeter they had set up, people would just drop off boxes of clothes.
Right.
Because they had to help. They come and drop sandwiches. They would come and, because they, something.
Make me be a
I
part
want
of.
to contribute.
Exactly.
I want to help. And I was in a position, I felt, to do that. And that's what I had been trained for. That's why I had that role.
Right.
So I volunteered to go back.
So your training puts you in a position where you're not really someone that wasn't in the military.
Yeah.
And they present me with an option of like, you can go to Afghanistan and help. I would talk to everybody. I'd be like, geez, I don't know. Debbie, do you think, if I do go, it's really helping, but I got a lot of stuff back at home.
Yeah.
Like, is your mind just, no.
It was automatic.
It's automatic.
Yeah, that was.
You've been trained, you just.
It almost felt like that, all that training. Because I joined at 19.
Yeah.
And spent my 20s in the Marines, on
Yeah.
active duty. So it was, I had just left active duty to join the reserves.
Right.
I'd only been in the reserves less than a year.
Jeez.
And so when it happened, it just felt like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know about the rest of my life, but I definitely know that this portion of is supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
And so it felt very justified in my mind to do that.
It's kind of, now that you're saying it, because I know your comedy had already started.
I was trying.
You were
I've been
already,
trying.
you had already, but you were like already UCB in it. And
I was UCB, and I hadn't got a break yet, but I'd been doing UCB since '97.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we are, and there is that weird thing that only I think like Jimmy Stewart era, Ted Williams.
There hadn't been.
It was a different thing. It was like to have to. Everyone's in these careers and doing the thing and being like, nope, we've got to go to war.
Yeah.
And they did. And they just went off and did it. I mean, that had to be, especially at that stage when you're pursuing what is nothing but laughter and screwing around.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. And God bless everybody down at the UCB. They were all incredibly supportive. I mean, we all felt it, it was our city. But I guess 1975, it became an all volunteer force.
Right.
Draft was gone, all that stuff was gone. So, a lot of the old Lee Marvins and, all those guys, right?
Yeah.
But Harvey Keitel, he's one of them, I guess. But there's a lot of veterans that went into acting in Hollywood and had some success. But you just don't see it anymore.
No,
not a lot.
No,
they are out there, and they are doing good things. And but like I would write letters because this is still 2001. We didn't have connectivity like we did,
right?
So it wasn't like I was just sitting down at my. You didn't have cell phones.
Yeah, you're not FaceTiming with UCB.
Smartphones didn't even come out until 2007.
Right.
And so you weren't doing anything like. I was writing letters.
Yeah.
And I would write guys back at the UCB saying, hey, the comedy scene over here in Mazar-e Sharif is great.
Come quick.
Yeah, I found a place called the Laugh Hut. It doesn't have a roof, but and I would write bits and they would write bits back, like, hey, I know a guy who can get you an agent over in Mazar-e Sharif. And, but that's what got me through was doing bits with the comedy guys.
Yeah.
So,
God, what a different time.
Yeah.
What a different. And how long did you stay over there?
Well, I went twice. I went 2 different deployments. So I think the first deployment was like 4 months, and the second deployment was 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that short?
Yeah, very short.
Yeah.
I mean, total time is about right, but the each deployment was pretty quick.
Right.
Because I was working for Central Command.
Okay.
I just got plucked and sent forward.
Oh, I see.
Plucked and sent forward to fill a gap or to fulfill a billet or a
Right.
post. And then once I had done it and they found someone who could come in for a longer term, they'd pluck me back and put me back. So I was
Right.
kind of this guy that'd go, here, you need to go on this mission, or you need to go on this thing, or you
Yeah.
need to. And so that's what I would do.
Yeah. The book is so great because it's, you talk about, of course, where you're at, you know, as a grown person and being in the military and doing all this stuff. But there is this little artist kid that I relate to of you getting in your first fights. And when you talk about, like, when you said, like, the emotion doesn't pour out of me, maybe not as an adult, but when you tell the stories of you as a little kid being picked on by the by the bullies, it's nothing but emotion. There is a sensitive artist, which is this great combination that makes Rob Riggle, which is like this goofy, sensitive kid.
Oh, yeah.
But also in a grown-up.
If I look back on my life, I you know, especially as a prepubescent boy, I had many moments of tears.
Yeah, right.
Many moments of, emotion bursting forth from me. I can remember, and this isn't even in the book. It just came to me though but I was thinking about, I was on the playground and I had either gotten in a fight or something happened, but I was in trouble. And I was crying, explaining to Mr. Abbott, he was a 5th grade teacher. I wasn't even in 5th grade, but we all knew Mr. Abbott.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to him what happened, and I was getting emotional because all of a sudden a circle gathered, and all the kids are staring at me now.
Yeah.
And so I started, my voice started to waver, and then when I heard my voice waver, then I panic set in, and so now I'm bursting out. And then at the end of it, in a weird twist, I started laughing uncontrollably. And so everybody in the gallery now, this playground gallery is looking at me because they're all, I can feel the heavy weight of 3rd grade judgment, or 4th, heavy weight of that. And so, it's getting worse. It's snowballing downhill. And then for some inexplicable reason, I just started laughing hysterically. And then the crowd started laughing, right? And then it was like, hey, forget about it.
Yeah.
That's it. And somehow I was off the hook, like no shame or whatever. But it was this most bizarre roller coaster of emotion. I just thought of that. I hadn't thought about that forever.
Yeah. It's weird. It just you're so out of control of it as a little kid.
Yeah.
And when you say that, like with the boys having like free time, which is not good. So like those guys just start, that's who we're going to beat the shit out of today.
Yeah.
I remember getting in a fight in like 4th grade where we were like talking smack, and then we were going to fight, and then we have fisticuffs, and we were both crying as we're punching each other. Just all of this.
Because it's an overload of emotion. It's absolute panic, adrenaline, fear, not knowing what's happening, not even knowing if you're hurt or not.
Right.
You're just flailing.
Yeah, and feeling bad about hurting him.
Yes, and flailing. It's really unbridled, unchecked. I've seen, like, there's a meme out there, I think, or something, where this sweet reporter lady is talking to a young boy, and she's like, "Are you having fun at the fair?" And he's smiling at first, and then he just starts crying, and she's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to." And I was like, I feel for the kid. I'm like, I've been there, kid. I know exactly what you're dealing with. It's just overload. You weren't ready.
Right, exactly. This is building up all year, all day.
Yeah, you have no idea. And it wasn't a lady. It wasn't you.
Yeah, no, you're just talking to that age kid.
Exactly.
You have 2 daughters?
I have a son and a daughter.
Son and a daughter.
Yeah, but they're older now.
They're all. How old are they now?
My daughter's 21. My boy's 17.
Okay, so
I've got a senior in college and a senior in high school.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you're the senior in high school still.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because you dedicate to your kids.
Yeah.
And you talk about because when I read it, and It brought tears to my eyes because that's my whole act, is trying to figure out this stage of life now, which is my kids are gone.
Empty nest.
And empty nest, and figuring out this, and you're so proud of them for doing what they're starting to do, but you also hope that they lack the skills to make it, so they can come back home and hang out for another couple of years. Just because they're so great, and you just want to be around them, and you have that sentiment in your dedication. But watching your kids grow up, which is very different from how we grew up. When you talk about like being in a fight and just like that story, like a circle, it seemed like every day when you really, it's well written the way you talk about that fight, and everybody gets around and they're cheering and they're bloodthirsty.
That was a seventh grade fight. That was with Tony Aguirre.
Yeah.
Sorry, his name's out there. Sorry, Tony. Tony and I are friendly now.
Yeah.
It's all water under the bridge. It was a seventh grade fight. But yeah, there was a bloodlust in the 70s and 80s that is...
It doesn't exist now,
I don't think it does. And maybe for the betterment of humanity.
Oh, absolutely. But why did it exist when we were little?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't think we were exposed to any more violence than the kids are today. It just was a standard operating procedure, maybe. I don't know. It was...
I mean, when you think about our cartoons... Like our kids grew up on Barney and Love, and everybody's like loving each other.
And we grew up with
had Bugs
Tom and
Bunny
Jerry
taking a
hammer each other's heads in.
Yeah, coal shovel right to the face of Elmer Fudd. Guns. They would end up with guns. The gun kept getting
Yosemite.
bigger.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote just beating the shit out of each other.
I would watch Tom and Jerry.
Right.
I think I have a soft heart probably a little bit because I liked the episodes where Tom and Jerry teamed up. And I think there's only like 2 or 3 of them. Really, there's only 2 or 3 of them. But the rest of them, they literally just beat the tar out of each other.
Yeah.
Relentlessly.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And you're just as a little kid going, can't you just get along?
Yeah.
But we weren't served that. We were not served that. And you think about the people who were making that, all those guys got out of World War II.
Yeah.
So they weren't caring about feelings.
No. They lived the real deal.
The real deal.
Yeah. And they had to come home and turn it off like a light switch. Yeah. I don't know how they did that. That was just, I think they self-medicated.
Yeah, big time. And
probably.
Yeah, and then I was just thinking about that. I asked somebody, they were talking about how their father never said, I love you. And that was like, well, yeah, but your father was raised by guys who were in those wars, in that war, the Great War, and then like those guys came back closed off and self-medicating and trying to deal. They weren't like,
and it's also it wasn't part of the lexicon of men.
No,
masculinity had a different rule set or different standard set, which was, a punch in the arm is I love you. Hey, not bad today.
Right.
Is that's my highest praise.
Right.
Take it to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa.
Yeah.
I think he likes me.
He said it wasn't bad today.
Right.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's different.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
It's a absolute, you just profess how much you love constantly.
Constantly.
Because you know how much I love you, right? You know how much I love you. You know how much I love you. You know how much I love. Yeah, I got it, Dad. F off.
Yeah, like to the point where we're annoying.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if it's bad or it's not bad. I don't know what it means in the bigger picture, but it's different.
It's different. Yeah. And we had the luxury of being far enough from those great atrocities where people were just able to focus on this rather than like.
Yeah, and I have no experience with a world war.
Yeah,
thank God.
Right.
I hope we never forget because enough time goes by, people tend to forget.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about, what did they estimate? The numbers were somewhere in the 70 million for World War II dead. 70 million globally.
70 million.
70 million.
God.
Okay. 12 years of Vietnam, we had 58,000 die.
Right. Which was, people talk about that's a tremendous, and then you had another 330,000 wounded. So you're talking about 380,000 casualties. Right.
From a 12-year war in Vietnam. And then you talk about 70 million in a 4-year span.
God.
Globally. Like that's something we'll never understand. So death just became very common.
Mm-hmm.
I think death was part of, it was just like, it was accepted.
Right.
You know, the time, I think they appreciated their lives more. I think they understood.
Yeah.
You know, these things, you know, it was, they had a callous about death that we don't.
No.
And
you could even take it back before all the wars, and just when you read those stories of, well, they had 8 children and 4 survived.
Right.
It was like kids were dead like before the age of 10.
Yeah, mortality was a very real.
Yeah.
Just, it was commonplace. Much
Always
more than
live
it is
with
today.
It. Yeah.
Much more. And that's, I mean, that's an amazing world we live in today. It's always cracks me up too, because when people long for the old days. Or
the good old days.
Yeah, I'm always like, you're living in the best time today. As you and I speak, this is the greatest moment in history.
Yeah.
In every possible way.
Right.
In technology, in medical.
I know.
Like we are living right now in the best moment in human history.
Heat, air conditioned, food.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. I could pick up a phone right now and have armed men here to help me. I could pick up a phone right now and have a medical professional here within 10 minutes to take me to a hospital.
Right.
Where there were other medical professionals who will save my life.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like that's
it's
unheard
insane.
of.
It's never existed.
So we live in the best time. So whenever people lament, I'm always like, you better enjoy it.
I know. But we have this weird thing of seeing everybody's bad news on our devices where nobody believes that. Yeah. Like, even as you say it, I can hear the comments going, really the best time? Really? Yeah, with all this. But it's... I'm
not saying it's perfect.
No, of course not.
Hear my words. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you look at human history, we're living on this is the best day today.
Yeah. I talked about that in one of my specials. And I'm like, burlap underpants. Burlap underpants.
Yeah.
Done.
Think about the shift to cotton, folks. How good.
Yeah.
Think about the attitude of men.
Yeah.
From the day everybody switched over.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, wives are getting flowers. The children are getting hugs. And all you had to do is get out those burlap pants.
Yeah. Everything got brighter. Yeah. I said, imagine a world without Advil.
Oh, my gosh.
A world without Advil that you just had to ride it out.
No.
Forget it.
No.
This is a nightmare.
No. Start drinking again. That's the only answer.
Yeah. We'd like to thank the good people at Monarch for sponsoring today's program. So as a new year is well underway and you're trying to maybe shed a couple of pounds, maybe you're trying to break some bad habits with maybe your grooming or the way you talk to people, that's all nice. But one good thing, a better thing to do is get your money in order. Get control of your finances. That's a good goal for this year. It's a good goal at any time for your life. And this is the time of year to do it. You can set yourself up for success. I appreciate Monarch because it's direct. It's easy to use. With the click of one button, I could set custom categories for all the snacks we eat here at Breaking Bread. That's a huge thing. With Monarch, I know that it is there when I need it with detailed breakdowns of my finances if I want it. And listen, I've said this before about Monarch. Doing all this stuff, it's nice to have a partner. And a lot of times you'll confront and you're like, how do we do these budgets? How do we set this up? What's the cash flow? All that kind of stuff. It's nice to have somebody else to bounce it off. Who has that kind of person in their life? Hardly anybody. And that's where Monarch comes in. You can set yourself up for financial success this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts, investments, net worth, your future planning. Maybe you want to take a look at how you're going to retire one day, together in one dashboard on your phone or laptop. Feel aware and in control of your finances this year and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with the code PAPA. Monarch isn't your average personal finance app. Unlike most other personal finance apps, Monarch is built to make you proactive, not just reactive. Tracking your money is easier than ever with some of Monarch's most popular features, like data visualizations. I thought data was going to be the hard part. Investment tracking. That's a great thing to see, like how your investments are doing, or even things that you were thinking about investing in. Individual and partner filters. Share your Monarch account with your partner and financial advisor at no extra charge, and view your assets together and individually. That's really the whole key to doing any of this, is that you can actually get control, makes you thoughtful, makes you think about what you're doing with your money. You start paying attention to it rather than just letting it roll, and that actually makes you more money. Set yourself up for financial success in 2026 with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use the code PAPA, P-A-P-A, at monarch.com for half off your first year. Look at that. They're saving you money already. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with the code PAPA, P-A-P-A. Once you get control of your finances, you kind of rest easy, and also set some goals, and it just calms your whole brain. Thank you, Monarch. Thank you all for listening. If you want more access to this show, and who doesn't, more stuff behind the scenes, ad-free episodes, you can join our Patreon. You can join Patreon. Go to patreon.com, look up our podcast, and become part of the Inner Sanctum. Yeah, you get a whole bunch of other benefits, and you get to, I don't know, kind of like be best friends with us, really. Yeah. Right? You get to hear more of the rest of the crew. All available at Patreon, and it also helps support the podcast, which is the most important thing, because, you don't get fake prosciutto and things like that for free. We'd also like to thank the good people at tompapa.com, where you can get all things Tom Papa. We've got big shows on the Grateful Bread tour. We're heading towards the next taping of my next special, which will be in October. So we released a whole bunch of dates. We're going everywhere. We're going to Florida, California, big run in Ohio, back to Canada. A lot of dates, all at tompapa.com. Also, if you go through there, you can get to Nambe, where you can get really cool things like this knife, this beautiful bread knife, and this beautiful bread cutting board that you see here on every episode, all at nambe.com. And it's one of their most successful launches on the Nambe brand, and we're designing and releasing a whole nother round of products, some flour scoops and other things that we're actively working on right now. So go to tompapa.com for that. We'd also like to call attention that the Netflix is a Joke Festival is back, taking over Los Angeles, and yours truly will be doing a show at the Ebell Theater on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, my own show, doing my hour-long show that I'm out on tour with at the Ebell Theater and the Netflix's Joke Festival. You can get them through my website at tompapa.com. So when you are in the military, are you funny in the military?
Yeah, I am, but I'm not... it's not like I'm gathering everybody around.
It's not like Stripes?
No, it's not like Stripes. I wish it was like Stripes, but it wasn't like Stripes. No, I never tried to entertain my fellow Marines.
Right.
For the most part, I was an officer, so
you were serious.
I had to wear the right hat, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there was a level of professionalism, a level of decorum, a level of respect that I tried to maintain in military bearing.
Right.
That dictated.
Yeah.
But I also didn't allow. I was very proud to be a Marine. I loved the Marine mindset. I loved, there was some things that really I took to heart and made part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't about to become some mindless robot either. Like, I knew what was funny. I knew what made me laugh.
Right.
I knew what I enjoyed. I know the kind of people I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I knew the personalities I enjoyed. I knew the personalities I hated.
Yeah.
And the Marines are a microcosm of American society. So I would get a taste of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I found guys that I'm still brothers with today.
Right.
That, I spend time with every year, and I love them to death.
Yeah.
And there's guys that I'm like, I don't want to serve another day with this guy, but if we're in a fighting hole and we're taking a hill, we'll do it together.
Yeah.
Because we do have that in common.
Right.
But, I also met some of the smartest guys. I met some of the dumbest guys. I met some guys that were so emotionally intelligent. They should have been doctors, or they should have been psychiatrists, because they were
Knew
wonderful
people.
leaders. They just knew instinctively how to handle people.
What was your greatest attributes at that time? Like, how do you rise to be an officer? Like, what if someone were to say that about you?
I think I was able to prioritize properly, which is, I always put my Marines first.
Right.
Whoever was working for me, their well-being was my top priority. And then I figured everything out from there. Mm-hmm. And then I was always, I think my superior officers always liked having me on their staff or having me work with them because I took a few rules and I just stuck to them. Like I never went to them with problems unless I had solutions to offer. Even if they were, I've got 3 options here, sir.
Yeah.
We can do A, B, or C. And he goes, those all suck. Come back with D. Okay. But at least I came to him.
Right.
I never just bitched.
You never just came in and said, this isn't working.
Yeah, you can't bitch. You can't complain. You can't sit around, and that's not helpful to your boss.
Yeah.
So you got to come in to your boss and say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but we have a problem.
Right.
Here's what I think will work. Here's what could work. And here's what could work. So how would you like me to proceed, or do you want me to, whatever. But I would have done a lot of the work for them. And I think whenever I was in charge, I always appreciated that from younger Marines coming to me, rather than just coming knocking on my door saying, well, what are you going to do?
Right.
I need to know some things here,
Yeah. So it's cool that, a big thrust of the book is, as you're talking now, it's like getting those lessons of not being an asshole and being kind, like actively going and using that as a thing, learning stuff in the military to prioritize, that kind of thing. It's like all of these things, really in the book it's kind of like, here's a way to get your life together. Right?
I hope so.
Enjoy it. Have all the blessings of being in comedy and having that stuff. Yeah. But there is a structure. There is a framework that is very helpful.
Well, I think thank you. I think that's why I wanted to write, is because my favorite thing when I read, I don't read fiction.
Right.
I like my fiction on screen. Or in a theater or whatever. That's how I like to.
Yeah.
But I love nonfiction.
Right.
I love useful information.
Yeah.
I love history, and I love biographies, and I love self-help, and I love, anything like that.
Yeah.
I'll soak those up. Yeah.
Right.
So when I went to write this book, my intention was, I've had an interesting journey. If there's anything from my journey that can help you on your journey.
Right.
That's why I hope it works for you.
Yeah.
Because when I read biographies, I love to hear how these people that I admire, George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, whatever, you read and you're like, oh my God, this guy had the things he was up against, the problems he faced. Where did he get his fortitude? Where did he get his decision making? Why did he make that choice?
Right.
And you could. If you drill down, you realize they had some hardcore basic foundations.
Yeah.
They had some trauma maybe in their youth, and they said they made some promises to themselves where they're like, I'm not going to allow this to happen ever again. And so they drove forward. They all had, what I've found so far among the great leaders, they all had boundless energy. Boundless.
It's really true.
Boundless.
Yeah.
Because I sit there and look at what they did in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah.
I know. How?
Yeah, but the successful ones throughout his business, politics, athletics, whatever, everything I've ever read, it's this boundless energy.
Just go.
They just keep going. And a 16-hour day is par for the course.
Yeah.
That's an easy day. It's like the SEALs say, the only easy day was yesterday. That's an easy day.
Right.
They'll run a marathon in the back. Easy day today. You're like, the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I think
so
that's what
are
I
we
found.
then let off the hook of not achieving those giant things because we're just built differently and need to nap?
I need a nap. I like my ice cream.
I like to sit around with my pug for a couple hours.
And nowadays I'm like scrolling like a bum.
Where's your energy like?
I think I've had pretty good energy.
Yeah. It comes across
for a
in
while,
all of your
I've been
creative
worn
work.
out lately. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Sometimes life gets in the way of that
Yeah.
energy and you get distracted by things. So
Right.
So that can steal from you. But
You mean like world events kind of things?
world events, personal events, just
Right.
whatever it is, you can get. And the older we get, the more responsibilities we have, and that
Yeah.
that can steal some of that. But we also are taking life. We take things too seriously. Like at the end of the day, it's all meaningless.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a doomsday way. I just mean
ultimately
everything I own.
Right.
I'm not taking with me.
Right.
It's all going away.
It's all dust.
It's all going away. It's going to somebody else.
Yep.
And about 10 days after I'm gone, no one's going to know my name. So I'm okay. Just as long as I take care of my kids, I live a good life. Yeah. I have fun. I find my joy where I can. I share laughs with friends. Maybe I have a nice dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have some moments with my lady. Yeah. We're good. I've done it right. I've done it right.
It's so funny. That 10-day thing really makes me laugh. I just watched that film with the Neil Diamond impersonator with
Song Blue.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, but it's getting all these nominations. And stuff.
It's really good.
I'm a big Neil fan, Neil Diamond fan. So count me in. Yeah, which is actually why I'm ashamed I haven't seen it yet.
But, I know. We were like, but it was one of those like.
Kate Hudson's nominated for it.
She's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
She's fantastic.
And Hugh Jackman, I'll watch him. I'll watch him in anything.
I mean, he's one of those guys that like can't be bad.
No, he could read the phone book, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, and both of them. I said to my wife, this is when both actors hear things like that was very brave because they don't wear makeup or they walk around with a pot belly. You know what I mean? It's like when we started talking before the show, like the burden of beautiful people. It's like these two are just acting the way we would act.
Yes,
but it's courageous because they look like us. But certain stuff happens where it's like where. I don't want to have a spoiler alert in it, but everybody's life goes back. Once something big and traumatic happens, still have to change your oil. Yeah. Still have to sweep up the walkway. Yeah. And it all just keeps on motoring.
Yeah.
We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
Oh boy.
And you were just talking about the books that you kind of like to read. Mm-hmm. This is very prophetic. I don't know how we even got this, but this is a work of nonfiction of you digesting how to get through a podcast with Tom Papa. I don't know why it's a whole book.
Wait, that's an AI of me, isn't it? Because I've never made that face in my life.
It is totally AI of you.
Oh, man. See, this is so scary.
I know.
And those are so not my hands. Those are big hands with a wedding ring.
They look more like my hands.
Yeah, they got it. Those are your hands. They're not mine. Like I said, the fingernails. Anyway.
Yeah.
That face is awful.
It really is. This is like the bad sitcom version of both of us. I told you it was going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I expect to see that billboard on Sunset.
Yeah, right.
Starting this fall.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, when you just end up in a project you weren't trying to get in, but it's making you a lot of money.
So you can't say no.
Yeah. Just have to go for it.
Yeah.
When did Daily Show was the first break, right?
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, Saturday Night Live came first.
Yeah.
Okay, Saturday Night Live. Yeah. And you went in with a buddy to audition. This is. No. But you.
Well, I was part of a comedy team, kind of. It was Rob Riggle and I.
Right.
We had a 2-man show that we had done, and we performed on the same improv team, and we had kind of done these things, but we auditioned as individuals.
Right. But at the same time, you went in and you got it, and Rob didn't. Yeah. Which, I mean, he's one of the funniest humans.
Exactly.
On Earth.
Exactly.
Just his thing is so
he is
funny.
So talented. He's so funny, and he's such a good man.
Yeah.
I love him. And we still perform at Largo.
You do?
Yeah, we do our improv group with Paul Scheer, Owen Burke, Hubel, Jason Mantzoukas, Daniel Schneider, Edie Patterson. Like, it's always a hodgepodge of entertainers. Chad Carter. I don't want to leave anybody out. Yeah. There's so many wonderful performers, but it's called Dinosaur, and we do a show once a month down at Largo.
Right. Oh, I didn't realize that was that group of guys. Yeah. I guess because Scheer always puts himself in the front. and makes it seem like it's his.
Well, I'll be honest, he does all the work. He does all the work.
He's a guy with boundless energy.
He's great. He's another one of those guys with boundless energy.
Yeah.
Like, he really does.
He really does.
That's why we all depend on him. You know, you have that one friend in the group who gets things done.
Yep. Makes the calls.
I can't even tell you how many times I text him. I'm like, where's the show, Paul? What time? We've been doing it for years. I'm like, does it start at 7 or 8? I'm sure he's got to be fatigued with me, right? He's got to be absolutely burned out, and yet still just as graceful.
Yeah.
Hey, it's at 7. We can't wait to see you. You know, I'm like, oh yeah. All I have to do is look it up myself.
That is a Largo thing, though. 7 or 8 is always the puzzle.
It's always.
It is either going to be 7 or 8, and I never know either. Getting Saturday Night Live, what was that like for you? Was it a long time goal achieved? Yeah,
it was. So my story with that, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, so as not to bore you or your listeners here. When I quit flight school in Corpus Christi, Texas, I had never quit anything before in my life.
Right.
And I already had my pilot's license. I just had to keep, I was doing fine. I was getting through the program, but I wasn't enjoying it. Not that that matters, but I had this quarter life crisis, I guess, where I thought, if I pin those wings on, I'm not going to be able to pursue comedy. That's just never going to be in the cards.
Yeah.
Because the commitment will be too long. And I'll end up flying for the Marines for my career.
Right.
And that'll be a 20-year career, and that'll be fine. It'll be a good life, and then I'll probably go into the airlines, is kind of the path that was laying out in front of me. But something inside me kept calling out. It was hard to describe because it had never happened to me before. I'd never experienced it before. But something was telling me, you gotta try this thing. You gotta try this thing. And it seems so out of place. It'd be this, to me, it felt like if I were to say, Tom, I'm not going to do comedy anymore. I'm going to become a rapper.
Right.
You'd be like, good luck with that.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of what everybody in my life was thinking when I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to try to be a comedian and an actor.
Right. Just blew their minds.
It bewildered everybody.
That's so funny.
But I went down. I was in flight school down at Naval Air Station, Corpus Christi, Texas. I went down to the beach. You could drive onto the beach back then. And I drove onto the beach, and I popped the back of my little Ford Explorer, and I was reading this book, and it was very, I was having a moment, and I was praying, and I was trying to figure out what to do, and I knew I had to make the decision. No one was going to make it for me. No one was going to, and I knew it was going to cause problems here or problems there, or, nobody was really going to be excited about it. I didn't have many people that would be like, finally.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so I said, okay, well, if I quit, it's got to matter. So what am I going to do? What am I going to accomplish that's going to justify my quitting? And I wrote in the book that I was reading at the time, in the back of it, I wrote, 1, I'm going to get on Saturday Night Live. And that was in September of 94. And then in September of 2004, 10 years, almost to the day,
really,
I got a call from Lorne Michaels asking me to join Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
So it was 10 years.
And in between that
10 years, there were moves, new jobs. I got a master's degree at night. I still was serving on active duty because I had to complete my contract. I had to get to New York. There were 2 wars. There were multiple deployments. There were... I got married. I had a daughter, like all the distractions and obstacles that just kept appearing over those 10 years. But I just kept my eye on the prize.
Right.
Somewhere, even when I was deployed or even when I, had to go away for a year down to Tampa to Central Command. And, I just said, okay, well, there's a beacon on that hill called SNL.
Jeez.
And I'm going to get there. And I just kept moving in that direction. And yes, there were delays, and yes, there were stalls, and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
But I just kept moving in that direction. And I got, like I said, you just keep putting yourself into a position.
Yeah.
Like, get yourself to New York. Okay, I found the UCB, thank God. Studied with Matt Walsh and Amy Poehler and Ian Roberts and Matt Besser, and learned from some great people. And then got enough noticed enough that I got an audition.
Right.
Well, holy cow, the odds of getting an audition are really small.
So small.
So small. And because you have to be invited to audition. You don't just go sign up.
Yeah.
So I felt so blessed that I even got this. Like, I was so proud of myself that I even got to the audition thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Even if it doesn't pan out, like, hey,
does this count?
I'm there. I was standing on the stage at 8H.
Yeah.
In 30 Rock, where the host stands every night when he comes out to do his or her monologue.
Doing your thing.
I was there auditioning. So I was like, wow, from that beach in Corpus Christi, I'm here now on stage. Like, I was patting myself on the back, I'll admit it, but I was really, they say that self-esteem, people always think, oh, this person affects my self-esteem, that person affects my your self-esteem, from what I understand and from the things I've deduced, comes from you.
Right.
And it comes from the promises you keep to yourself. If you, the promises you keep. If you make a promise to yourself and you keep it, your self-esteem goes up.
Right.
It's when you make a promise to yourself and you fail, or you don't do it, or you don't abide by it, you start to chip away at your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. No one else can affect it. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like I was keeping promises. The promises I made to myself, I was keeping.
Right.
Now, whether I got it or not, that's out of my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? To a certain degree, you can only control so many things.
Sure.
But when I got that call, I remember I was standing in line at a deli in New York on 44th between 3rd and Lexington. And I was getting dinner for my wife and, myself, and the newborn was still on a bottle.
Right.
But I'd been waiting in line forever. And I got the call, and it was very presidential.
Yeah.
It's very, is this Rob Riggle? Yes. Stand by for a call from Lorne Michaels. Almost like stand by for a call from the president. Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I kind of did quick math. Lorne doesn't call with bad news.
Right.
So I didn't want to allow myself to get excited, but I got excited. So I stepped out of line, which I'd been waiting in for like 30 minutes. So I stepped out of line. And of course, New York is just filled in. You know?
Of course.
I could have dropped dead and they would have filled in.
Yeah, and you're not getting it back.
I'm not getting it back. So I stepped out and I went out on the street, and he came and I was, Rob, we thought you did a fine job. We enjoyed your audition. Very interesting. And, he was very nice. Would you be interested in joining the cast this year? And that was it. I screamed.
Oh my
something.
God.
I was very Marine still.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a job in show business.
Yeah.
So I screamed something like, I'm going to work so hard for you. You made a good choice. I promise. I'm going to show up every day. And I'm sure he was already hanging up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, to me, I felt like I needed basically, I was like, yes, sir, affirmative. I was, here we go. And I'm sure he was already done with me. He was like, let's go to the Spagos or whatever he does. I don't know.
Right.
But, so
that's amazing.
But then the 10 years it took to get from the beach to that place, it kind of flooded it on me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very emotional.
Yeah.
I got back in line. I don't even remember how long I waited. My feet weren't on the ground.
Yeah.
But I got the food. I went back up. I told my wife at the time, and we celebrated. I called my parents. Just the validation that came along with that felt really, really good. It just felt good. Oh. Now, my time on SNL didn't last long, but I'm okay with that.
You did it.
Because the dream came true. I'll always be grateful.
Yeah. To
Saturday Night Live, to Lorne, to the producers that gave me the opportunity.
Yeah.
The year I had there was great. Sure, I would have loved to have done other things, and I would go back on that second year, do some things different.
Sure.
I learned a lot of lessons, but it didn't happen. Okay, I understand.
Met people.
I'll always be grateful.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing but gratitude and thanks. So it was great because at this 50th that went down last year.
Oh yeah.
I got to go.
Oh, that's great.
And I got to see some of the writers I hadn't seen since I left, and it was just wonderful.
That's fantastic.
To catch up and to just tell them how much I loved them and how grateful I was. It was awesome.
And it does open up. I mean, you did it.
Yeah.
You literally did it.
Yeah, I'm
and
one of the alumni.
Everything that followed.
Yeah.
Everything that followed.
If you go up to 17, where the offices are in 30 Rock, They have all the cast photos from 75 to present day.
Right.
And then they have the headshot of every cast member that ever was on both sides of the hall, going all the way down, because it's like this big wraparound, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, you walk by and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And even like, you know, Ben Stiller. I was like, Ben?
Right.
And he was on for like 6 episodes, you know?
Yeah.
And you forget these things. And you're like, but you go down and you're like, what? And, and I don't know, but somehow I'm up there.
Amazing.
So I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful for that opportunity, because it was a dream come true. And it allowed me to believe that I did make the right choice.
Yeah.
So
It's, what's incredible is when you do pray for something like that, and you know that that's got to be the thing. Yeah. And it ultimately, it's a destination, but also just like an open door.
Yeah.
Like, because once you get from there, you know, you shoot off in the Daily Show, and to be
get
able
other
to say,
opportunities,
be able to say like,
Yeah.
I'm in Step Brothers, I'm in The Hangover, like all of those things, like that focus gave you like your entry point.
You get opportunities.
Yeah.
I was so naive, though. I was really naive about show business.
Right.
I didn't know anything. I couldn't have been any greener.
Yeah.
When I showed up.
Yeah.
And so I still had a teamwork, gung-ho mentality.
Right.
You know, which is, we're all in this together, right? We're trying to make the best show possible, right?
Yeah.
You know, and for the most part, yes. But I didn't understand things. I didn't understand politics, showbiz politics.
Oh, and you jumped into the
and I didn't understand ego, and I didn't understand some things that, like, people get upset about that, or
right.
people get, I didn't even think that someone would be offended by that.
Right.
I was just trying to do a bit.
Right.
You know, like, I just had, the learning curve was steep.
In the steepest place.
Probably, yeah.
In the steepest place.
It was like drinking out of a fire hose, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When you read the story, read the stories, that book of SNL.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody comes out of there without lessons learned.
Yeah.
Of the politics and the personalities, and it's such an intense environment, and I've never done it.
Yeah.
But it's such an intense environment that it's from the outside, it looks like it's a microcosm for everything that you will encounter in show business for the rest of your career in a very quick amount of time.
Yes. When
you're young and showing up, and you have to be really good at it right away.
Yeah.
Like it's
scary.
Yeah.
It's a very scary.
Scary is basically the way to sum it up.
And I think that's, there's a lot of fear around that place. And it's unfortunate, because there's also great moments of joy.
Yeah.
Great moments of laughter. Great moments of comedy gold.
Yeah.
You know, so you run the gauntlet of emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and the hours are still, the schedule's still the same as it was in 75.
Right.
You know, which is crazy. They don't need to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know, but they just still do it that way.
Yeah.
So if you have a 3-show run where you're doing 3 weeks in a row, by the time you get to that third, that third Saturday, you are wiped emotionally, mentally, every which way.
Yeah.
But that's usually when you'll see the cast break.
Right.
That's when you see people
just
lose it,
giddy.
because they're just slap happy.
Right.
You know, they're tired, and they're just cracking up at everything.
Yeah.
You know, and so when you see the cast break, I'm willing to bet they're on the end of a 3-week run.
Right. It's just gotten so ludicrous.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you got spit out the other side of it, were you quickly all right, on to the next thing?
No. As a matter of fact, Rob Hubel and I, we ended up writing a pilot for for NBC. We wrote them a pilot, so at least I had a little bit of pay. It wasn't much. It was like, we had to split it, so it was even less than what it normally. Yeah. So, and then of course the agents and managers and the tax man, it came in about a third of
what you thought.
Like, I'm not kidding, 25 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
So anyway, that covered a little bit. I was still in the Marines. I was still in the reserves, so I was going to Command and Staff College down at Miramar. When you're a field grade officer, you have to go to Command and Staff College, and it takes about 2 years to get through that.
Oh, wow.
So I was going down there and doing that on the weekends, and then I was looking for work.
Right.
That's it.
Just hustling,
auditions, whatever I could do.
Yeah.
I had to child, I had a baby, and I had a wife, and I am a Midwestern man who feels the heavy obligation to provide.
Sure.
So I'm feeling the heat because we're running out of money.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And I've got my wife and my daughter living in my parents' house, and I've got a small studio apartment in LA trying to find work so that I can bring them out.
Where's your parents' house?
In Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
And basically, I get an audition for The Daily Show in LA. And I guess I did well enough that they said, John wants you to read in the studio. So I was like, great. And I think they probably brought in 4 or 5 of us because there was one correspondent slot open.
Uh-huh.
And so I went in, and we were broke. I had kind of hit bottom as far as money.
What year is this?
2006.
Uh-huh.
And so it was this. The choice was this. I either got the gig or I was going back on active duty.
Wow.
Because it was the height of the war. Mm-hmm. They needed bodies. They needed people. I knew I could put my hand in the air and get called back on active duty within a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I knew I would get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Mm-hmm. I'd have medical insurance. I'd have, benefits, and so would my family.
Sure.
So I was like, well.
Good plan.
So I went to New York, and I went into audition, and I was not very experienced with a teleprompter. And they basically, you do a piece, an old piece from one of their old shows where you stand in front of a green screen and you're reporting from somewhere, right? And you're doing the thing. Then you go over to the desk and you sit with John and you do a desk piece where you interact with John.
Right.
Okay. Now, again, this is the second gig I've ever had a chance at for real. So
I was just thinking that.
And I'm not a teleprompter guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not savvy. So I said, guys, is it okay if I just do a quick practice so I can see the script on the thing? They're like, yeah. So I'm doing it and I'm screwing it up, but I'm loose. I'm having fun, and but I'm botching it. You know. But okay. Then John comes in. I'm like, okay, and he goes, oh, that's good. Come on over here. And I was like, oh no, that was half of my audition, and I just pissed it away because I was kind of fucking around,
Right. Yeah.
And I was also I blew a couple things,
Yeah.
So I was like, are you sure you don't want me to? He goes, no, come here. So I was like, well, he said, come over.
He wants you already.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight him on this.
Yeah.
So I go over and I sit at the desk, and he goes, let's do the desk piece. All right, here we go. And I'm like, so, he's here, but the teleprompter's here. So I'm like, he goes, just, probably stay on the teleprompter. So I was like, got it. So I'm on the teleprompter, but I can't help make eye contact with him. Yeah. Shit, where were we? I mean, it's scrolled, I'm lost.
Yeah.
So
no.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know the game yet.
I don't have it.
So I did my best. I tried to crack wise with him, have some fun, so he knew I'm not. I can do more than this. Like I have a sense of humor. Yeah. Like we can have some fun.
Right. You'd like me. I swear.
I got about 15 seconds to sell myself here. And
I'm going back into service.
So I get done. He's gracious. He's a very gracious man. He thanks me. Smiles,
Yeah.
So I go, okay, thank you. I go back. I just want to get out of there because I feel like I failed. And so I walked out onto the street and called my wife at the time, and I said, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I think I blew it. I explained everything that I just explained to you. And I said, but don't worry. Don't panic. We're going to be fine. I'm gonna go back on active duty. I know exactly who to call. Well, I'm gonna probably end up down at CENTCOM again, but we're going to be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Money's coming. We're not going to starve. As I'm explaining this to her, one of the producers comes and says, hey, do you mind hanging out until the very end, till everybody's gone? But you got to stay in your dressing room, because they didn't want us seeing each other, I guess, or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll stick around so you can kick me in the teeth, but sure, So I go back in, and I'm sitting there just waiting, slack-jawed, staring at a wall, thinking about
your uniform,
thinking about the old fashioned I was going to have at the hotel bar as soon as I got out of here.
Yeah,
and the producers came in, and they were really nice, and they said, hey, John liked what you did. He thinks you're funny. Would you be interested in being a correspondent here? And again, I did the exact same thing I did it as an I was like, I'm gonna work so hard for you. You don't even know. Like, I'm gonna bust ass. I'm gonna be here every day. They're like, take it easy, kid. You know? And that was that. And then I got the gig, and which sucked though, because I literally just moved 1 month prior, my wife and daughter out to a place in
LA,
out in the suburbs.
Really?
This tiny little condo. And so they had just got there in June. And I got the gig in July. And so now I'm like,
that's the way it always happens.
And
though.
so the thing was, though, I couldn't take them back because we didn't have any money. So I couldn't move them. I couldn't move them back
now you're
east.
Commuting.
And the way the Daily Show worked at the time was, it kind of sucked. It was a 6-month hire. It was a probationary hire. So it was like, you're hired for 6 months, and then we'll let you know at the end of 6 months if you get another 6.
So move your whole family.
I'm not moving them all the way out to the East Coast to set up shop to be let go in 6 months.
Right.
To move them all, I was like, this is crazy. So I was like, stay there. I'll fly back and forth, on the weekends. But we didn't have that much money. And at the time, basic cable didn't pay jack squat.
Right.
They weren't paying me a lot.
No.
They were paying me enough that I could pay the rent out there and pay the rent for a very small studio in New York that I got off of Craigslist.
Oh God!
From this very nice lady who was getting her master's in Spain and needed me to sublet her apartment. Like, I'm not kidding. So this was my deal, and that's what I did. And I lived out of a suitcase for 3 years.
Whenever my wife and I were thinking about work on either coast, it was. And we needed to get something. It was let's book a vacation or let's declare that we're moving to the other place. Every single time,
because it guaranteed work.
As soon as you book it, as soon as you say we're committed to this vacation or we're moving back to LA, something would pop up in New York or the other way around. Every single time.
I do. I have that same game I play with my managers.
Yeah.
Where I'm always like, you know what, guys? I really want to take May off. I want to take May off because I need some time to get healthy and maybe do some writing.
Just for my family.
Booked. I'm like, thank you.
Always. It is a weird thing.
It's a weird thing.
It's
isn't
so
it?
strange.
Yeah.
What I love about your stories, in all of these stories, even from the first scary one of 9/11, is the New Yorkness of it all. There's the standing outside on the street, getting a call from Lauren Michaels, being on the street, being called back in to see John, knowing how you hustled with this. It's when I was reading the book, it's weird. We were kind of in the same orbit in New York. I'm in the stand-up clubs, and you're in the those other rooms doing the thing. And like, we really didn't cross paths ever. But that hustle, that New York thing.
That New York thing.
It's
when I left my audition at 30 Rock, it all happened so fast. You're on the elevator headed back down to the ground floor, and you're like, did I just audition? Like, like what happened? It's really a blur. It's shock. Out. You're in shock.
Yeah.
But I got out of 30 Rock, and I walked across the street to those fountains that's right in front of Del Frisco's.
Yep.
And I sat there and I prayed.
Right.
And I just took a moment for myself after 10 years of trying to get, because I knew this was it. You know? And so I just sit there and prayed as hard as I could and took a moment to kind of soak it all up and then come to terms with whatever happened and be really grateful for the journey.
Right.
And I'm making all this peace, but so at the same time praying that it happened.
Asking for something.
But I'm asking, like, can you let it happen? But I understand if it doesn't.
Right.
I'm just grateful, and having that conversation, right? But I did all that in the summer heat.
Yeah.
Right there in front of Del Frisco's.
Picture
and so
it.
even to this day, I walk by that fountain and I remember that moment of my life.
Yeah.
Manhattan, I can almost tell you a story from every corner.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I can almost tell you a story from every corner.
Yeah.
And I can, my kids want to lose their mind when I go to New York with them, right?
Over there?
Yeah, because I shot an episode of like Elsbeth. So I got to spend a couple weeks. So I had the kids come, and I'm taking them around. I'm like, every corner. I was like, I remember one time Horatio and I got tacos there one time or whatever. They're like, shut up. But I do that town. I have such a fondness. It was a really hard time. And that's what made it such a special time. And New York was wonderful then.
I know.
It was a wonderful place to be.
The 90s into the early 2000s.
I think from probably, and I wasn't there then, but from what I hear, from 94 to probably 2014 was a great time to be in New York.
It was.
that 20-year run.
On so many levels.
So
artistically.
I loved it. I moved there in 97 and I left in 2009 and I wouldn't trade a moment.
Yeah. Would you ever go back?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was work, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I'll go back for work. But
Yeah.
as far as just going there to try and start again,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a different city, man.
It is a different city.
It's a different city. It breaks my heart.
I know.
Because the city I left, I loved.
It was a golden era. You know, it's weird. And I told my daughter that because she was born there and we lived
So
there.
was my daughter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, up in Columbia, right by Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine
Columbia.
was at Luke's, like closer to SNL,
Yeah.
but on the way west side. And and then she moved back after college, and I had to take her aside and just say, "Let me explain what you grew up. It's not that what it is now is not what you lived when you were a kid. That was a golden era.
It was,
and it wasn't before that, and it's not now. It's still great, still has its bones, and there's a lot of reasons to
It'll
go
be
and
back.
whatever.
I have this hope that it's, things cycle.
Yeah,
Things ebb and flow.
yeah,
And I'm hoping that, it comes back strong.
yeah. I think I would not bet against that place at all. But yeah, there is that thing of, I don't know. Could I do it full time? I think it would eat me up. I don't know.
I remember when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And I lived in New York, and I would see elderly people,
Right.
doing the Tim Conway
With
walk.
their bags.
Yeah, and just barely making it down the street.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, go to Florida. Not because I wanted to be mean.
I know.
But I put myself in their shoes.
I know.
And I was thinking, because
But-
the slush and the cold and the traffic
wind.
it's a hard town because it's a walking town.
Yep.
It's a hard town. And I was like, man, when I'm up there in age, when I'm retirement age,
Yeah.
you'll find my ass where the warmth is.
I know.
So my bones and my joints don't feel it so much.
But the other side of it, when it is nice, that 1 week in November, you could get on a train and see something at Lincoln Center, and then go for a drink in the West Village, and then see ballet the next day.
I always lived north of 42nd Street
Right?
because I was a park addict.
park.
I needed the park.
Yeah.
The park meant so much to me.
Yeah.
I'd always go to the park, and it would recharge me, my soul, everything. And the smells of autumn in New York, and the crisp air.
Yeah.
I mean, those are magical moments
Yep.
that I will never forget. And whenever I get back, if I get a chance to go to New York in the autumn, I jump at it.
Yeah. Well, that's the good news. Is they have a lot of hotels.
Yeah.
And you can go and spend 2
That's it.
weeks and then get your dose.
Get my fill completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're looking at where you're at so far, I mean, you're active and still doing your hustle and all that, but looking at the story up until this point, what are you the most proud of in the comedy space? I mean, the SNL is a huge achievement, but is there?
SNL was it felt really good to be able to.
But you've
been
done
part
so
of
much
that.
since then.
Yes, I really love making comedy feature films. That's really, I love that. And then any opportunity I get to work with other comedians that enjoy, like I like working with comedians who want to serve the comedy. Meaning, if I'm doing a bit or if I'm improvising some addition to a scene or whatever, or I'm willing to be the straight guy.
Right.
If that's what the bit calls for.
Yeah, yeah.
If the bit calls for me to, be the
this to
advocate for
work.
the audience, I will do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Where I'm like, I don't think you should do that.
Right,
Whatever.
yeah.
That's fine with me because it's going to serve the greater good. It's going to make this great comedic moment fly.
Right.
And I like working with other comedians who are willing to go either way.
Right, right.
The crazy one or the straight man.
Yeah.
And flip flop, I don't care, whatever it takes. But as long as we both have the same mindset of let's make this thing the funniest scene it can be.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why like Will Ferrell means a lot to me because he is unbelievably gracious when it comes to comedy,
right,
and comedy in his films,
right.
That's another thing too. I think people underestimate when you shoulder the weight and responsibility of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is multiple millions of dollars. These are many, many careers. These are a lot is put on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's your name.
Yeah.
So you tend to get territorial, right? And that's understandable to me. I get that.
Yeah.
If it's your thing, you have the right to say, that's my line.
Right.
I'm going to do that.
Right.
I'm going to do this. It's time for me to shine because it's my name that's going to fly or sink. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Will still has that mindset, in my humble opinion, that he wants the comedy to fly.
Right, right.
And he's smart enough, in my opinion, to see that if the comedy flies, the whole project flies.
Right.
And hence, he flies.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are like, nope, I'll be doing that. I'll be saying that. I'll come in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
You sit, don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, look, I'm not one on the call sheet a whole lot, but when it happens, I can see why they have that mentality.
Right.
But when that's why I have so much love and respect for Will Ferrell, because you start improvising with him and he'll go wherever it goes. If he's the crazy one, I will slide into the straight man so fast, because I want it to fly. But I've done things where I've been insane,
right?
And he immediately goes into straight man,
right?
Because it serves the comedy better.
So great.
And that's why I think that's where I would love to spend all my time.
Do you have a favorite scene with him?
Probably the pow scene in Step Brothers where I'm yelling pow at him. That was
crazy.
That was a reshoot.
Was it?
It was a total reshoot. And I really didn't have much business because I'm Adam Scott's henchman.
Yeah.
Right? So basically I'm just there to be muscle.
A wine mixer.
Yeah, I'm there to be muscle for Adam because Adam's got the speech. He's like, this is the Kelly wine mixer, We sell or lease more helicopters here. I make my nut. You screw with my nut, Brennan. And Brennan, Will, he's gung ho. He's like, I want it. I'm snapping necks, cashing checks. He had to be aggressive. So I'm kind of just there to. So, I take my chance. And Adam says something like, you mess with my nut, Brennan. And I just mimicked him. All I did was point at him. Right? Like, I'm going to do, he says kill you, I will kill you. I wanted to reinforce anything that Adam said was gold to me, right? To my character. Yeah. So I was like, oh God. And I was more mad at Will than Adam was. Right? Because anything, I'm like an attack dog. So anything, Adam said,
I don't have to be friends with you.
Yeah, I'm going to kill. I kept looking like I'm going to kill you. And Will totally picked up on it, right?
Yeah.
And so he's listening to Adam. He's looking at me, just side eyeing me, like what the hell, because I'm sitting there foaming at the mouth. And I start everything. Adam would say something like, "Boom," I make 800 million. And I go, "Pow!" And I would just scream. I just started screaming, "Pow!"
Was pow not in the script?
No, not at all. It was just an exclamation point to whatever Adam said. I was just trying to, and it tickled Will. It just tickled him, And so he was like, on the second take, he goes, keep doing that. So I was like, okay, so I kept doing that, and it allowed me to have a moment.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that.
Right.
Yeah. But he
knew this was the funniest thing happening.
He allowed me to have a moment,
Yeah.
which was unbelievably gracious.
But also.
And then Adam Scott, again, in the whole world of improv, right?
Yeah.
If Adam says something to me, I'm not going to deny it.
Right.
And I'm not going to reclassify it or whatever. I'm going to I'm going to take what he gives me and I'm going to add more to it. So when he goes, Randy here is going to eat your dick. I heard that and I immediately thought of the hot dog eating contest. So I go, like Kobayashi. And I start aggressively eating, what would be Brennan's dick. And again, that made it in because it was an obnoxious moment. but that was what I felt like. That's the only way I could contribute to the scene.
Yeah,
I'm here to kill for this guy.
Right.
Get the message. You're going to die. You have a 50-50 chance of getting out of this office alive, Will Ferrell, Brendan. And because he's gracious, that's got to stay.
He's gracious, and it also he knew this was going to be hilarious.
Yeah, he knew it worked in the moment. He knew it worked in the moment and added to it and allowed him to be like, is he saying pow? Why is he saying
why is he saying pow?
Yeah.
Was there anything that you threw in those that got cut that maybe was too big?
The reason it was a reshoot is because you can find it on the deleted scenes.
Oh yeah.
In the first time we shot it, his character was too passive, right? And I was doing all the talking. I was yelling at him, going, this is the Catalina wine mixture. You screw this up, you're dead. You're not just a little dead. You're a lot. I'm going off about, you got to have top-notch talent. Last year we had Lorena Abdul, Paula Abdul's mother. And Will's going, she's a performer. I'm like, yeah, she's a performer. Are you fucking kidding me? You got to have big balls. And I'm going off about, just yelling at him. And then I have this heart attack. While I get so mad at him, I have a heart attack and I die. And then
right
Adam walks in, right? That's about the time Adam walks in as I've died. And Will's like in a panic. And he's going, I think he's dead right now. I go, oh, and I come back to life. This is all, we're just making this stuff up.
Yeah.
This is all just made up. And it's a really funny thing, but because Will's character was too passive in that scene, they didn't like it. They wanted him to be more aggressive. They wanted him saying, I want the Catalina wine.
Right.
So we had to do a reshoot. Well, in the reshoots, I didn't have anything to do. Where in that first scene, it was a killer scene.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And so now I'd been kind of relegated to not much.
Right.
But we all had improvised throughout the movie.
Right.
So I figured this was just another chance to improvise. So I threw out a couple pals and things like that. And Will, I guess, was merciful or liked me enough that he let it stay.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Really, just because when you see Step Brothers come up on whatever streaming, just that cover art of the two of them,
that picture, that mall picture, it's the best.
Yeah, and you just to know that you're in it is got to be such a sweet feeling.
Yeah. It was a great lesson too. I love working with talented people because I always learn from. I always learn from them. In even the smallest nugget can change so many things in my life, and so I've always paid attention to how Will, he was very gracious in that. He was very gracious in the other guys. He's just always been very gracious.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, okay, if I'm in a scene with a younger comedian who's chewing up the scenery because maybe he or she doesn't know,
right?
Hey, take it easy. Balance. There's a little give and take here, or whatever. If it's funny,
right,
I just shut up,
right?
And I'll let him do it.
Yeah.
I won't make a stink. That's fine. Because at the end of the day, if the piece flies, we all fly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no mystery to why you get cast in all of this stuff, because if in the artwork of making a comedy, you are a reliable, very usable, funny human being.
Well, thank you. That's nice. I'm coming from you. I appreciate that. It
really,
means a lot.
Really. It's whenever I would see you pop up in anything, you get like excited. It's just like, because you're not going to miss. You're not. This isn't going to be like half-assing it. It's not going to come in like, what's he doing now? And I can't wait to read the rest of the book.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for even taking the time to get halfway through it, man.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's and I know it's a lot to pour all that stuff out from your whole life and try and like kind of make sense from
picking the stories to use.
Right.
I left a lot on the cutting room floor there.
Yeah, but I can imagine.
They didn't make sense, to the overall. What I was trying to do. So anyway.
Well, I'm excited also. Oh, and I baked you this bread.
Oh.
I baked this bread this morning.
Thank you.
It should be. No, it's a little. It was warm as of on the way over here.
It still sounds very good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sourdough loaf that I made for you this morning. In the middle of my radio show, I'd be like, "Okay, we're going to take a quick break, listen to some comedy," and I'd run and do the next thing for it. That's
fantastic.
That's for you to take home, and I'll see you at the Big Slick.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
That means so much to so many people, and you coming is going to it's going to add so much to the show. So
please, the lineup of people, I'm honored to be a part of it, a small part of it. It's going to be a blast.
It'll be great.
Yeah, and it's so great to know, and it's kind of this cool thing to say yes to, because it is comedy. Yeah. Like I'm not really working, but I could tell my wife it's still comedy. Yeah. Look, you know, Rob's in it. All these people are in it. So it technically is work.
Yeah, it's for the kids too. I mean,
but it seems like a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be the best time you ever. It's the best time you ever had helping people.
Right.
So you're gonna love it.
That's great. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we got it, kids.